Looking for watered down conversations? This might not be the podcast for you. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode. And today I have a few things that I'm going to talk about. And I'm just going to jump straight into it. This topic was actually inspired by a conversation that I had with a friend. And the topic is the need to go to college. Is college overrated? I grew up in the 80s era and the 90s era, okay? Straight 80s and 90s, baby. And during that time, I remember always hearing, go to college, you know, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Education is the key. And, you know, it was always preached and taught to go to college and get an education. You know, college is the door to success. It's the key to a brighter future. We had major influences who also urged us to go to college, like people like Bill Cosby. I remember, you know, watching the Cosby Show, and education was really pushed. And then there was the spinoff, A Different World. And honey, let me tell you, when I saw A Different World, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to go to Hillman, even though it was a fictional college, you know, back then. I don't know if we really knew that or not, but honey, all I know is I saw all those black folks in college getting educated, pledging. You know, I wanted to do all that. I wanted to experience that life, honey. It was just an awesome thing to see. And that really did influence a lot of us to go to college. But see, that was then. And see, now, things are just a little bit different. Now, even though I say that things are just a little different now when it comes to going to college, there are still many people who feel that college is the best route to go in life. It is the door to success. And it's the stepping stone to a bright future. However, I disagree, okay? I am not a big advocate of college. I am always an advocate for education. I always feel like you should never stop being educated. I just don't feel like education has to take place between four walls on a campus where you're paying all this money in tuition and things like that. I don't agree with that. I do not feel that going to college and getting a degree determines your future and determines how well you do in life, and that without a degree, you cannot become great. I disagree with that. Now, am I saying don't go to college? Am I saying that getting a degree is a waste of time? No, absolutely not. If you want to go to college, by all means, go. I mean, hell, some of your favorite rappers went to college and got degrees. Look at 2 Chainz, Ice Cube, Childish Gambino, Talib Kweli, Ludacris. Who else? Chuck D from Public Enemy, David Banner, and that's just to name a few. So no, that's not what I'm saying. So don't take this as, oh, she's saying don't go to college. No. But what I am saying is, if you choose not to go to college, or even if you choose to drop out of college, don't be out here kicking yourself in the ass and beating down on yourself because you didn't graduate from college, or you dropped out of college, or whatever. You chose not to go to college. Don't be sitting up here kicking yourself and beating yourself down and comparing yourself to those who do have degrees and who did go finish college and all that good stuff or whatever. Don't be sitting up here comparing yourself to them and feeling like you don't level up and you don't measure up to some you know, level of adequacy, and that you're inadequate because you don't have what they have. I mean, just don't do that to yourself, because it's really not worth it at the end of the day. You don't have to have a college degree to be educated. And notice I didn't use the word success. I won't use the word success because my idea of success is not wrapped up into a degree. And everybody's idea of success is different. Some people's idea of success is wrapped into money. It hides between the walls of money and fame, but that's just not my idea of success. When I look at someone who I deem as successful, it's never about the college degrees that they have. It's never about the money that they have. Though the money is a plus. I mean, that's cool. If a person wants a lot of money in life and they want to be rich and they want to be famous, that's cool. But that's not when I look at them, those are not the factors that make me say, oh, they're successful. No, for me, it's more so about, do they have peace in their life? Because you could have all the money in the world, but you could be miserable as fuck. So at the end of the day, if you are miserable, does that money really matter? So like I said, for me, that's not what I deem as success. It's, like I said, it's more so about the peace of mind. Is this person doing what they want to do in life, or are they doing what they were told they should do or what they think they should be doing? Having peace, having joy, having a relationship with the God of your understanding, and being able to be a blessing to other people, being a person who can impact people's lives in a positive manner, being someone that when you're dead and gone, people can reflect on something that you taught them or something that you said or something that you did that impacted them in a very positive way. And you don't have to be rich and famous to be that type of person. You could just be a regular schmegular person. So yeah, those I would have to say are the main things that I identify success to be. And I do feel like college is overrated. I feel like there are too many people who have degrees who are not even working in their field, that they went and raked up all this debt in, and they're not even working in that field. Hell, some people are just going to college because it's said to be the thing to do. I read somewhere where economists were saying that people nowadays should actually look towards getting a skill trade and just working, that trade, as opposed to going to a 4-year university and raking up all kinds of debt and then not even working in that field, or just can't even find a job in that field. And now you're behind in so much debt. You got debt up to your eyeballs, and it's like you can never get it paid off. And this is one of those topics where I know some people may not agree with me, but that's fine. And again, there's nothing wrong with going to get a degree. I just truly feel like if you're not trying to be something like a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse or accountant, something of that nature, those type of fields that you have to have a degree. There's no shortcuts around it, none whatsoever. Yes, I feel like that is great and you should go to college. But I feel like other areas where you don't necessarily need a degree, like a lot of business majors, you can find ways around that. You can study up on an area. I don't know. I just don't feel like college is always necessary. I just don't. And education never stops. You can use Google to read up on just about anything. You can go to the library. There are ways to educate yourself in certain areas. And again, like I said, it doesn't always have to be at a 4-year university in a classroom behind 4 walls where you're racking up tons and tons and tons of debt. And then people say things like, go get your education. Nobody can ever take that from you. Well, hell, there's no point in having a degree that you cannot use. There is no point. Let's take a quick break. Okay, I got a quick question. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Listen, when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. Like, how do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? How do I make money from podcasting? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you can get paid to podcast. I absolutely love to publish my podcast on Anchor, and it is super user-friendly. I love it. It's amazing. So if you've always wanted to start a podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. And we're back. Now, all this talk about college, now that ushers me right into the other topic that I wanted to cover. So y'all know I cannot talk about college and not talk about the biggest college admissions scandal to ever happen in the history of college admissions and college scandals. So for those who don't know, the federal authorities are charging 50 people with taking part in a nationwide scheme to basically get their children in highly competitive schools like Yale and the University of Southern California. They did this through bribery and, just paying money, having people take the SATs for their kids or whatever. And the crazy part is they paid more money to get their children into these schools than the fucking tuition costs. Now, these parents are wealthy, well-to-do, powerful people, and they include actresses Felicity Huffman from Desperate Housewives and Lori Loughlin. We know her as Aunt Becky from Full House, and the designer Massimo Guanelli. I mean, this is just crazy. And here's my thing. They did all this to get their kids into this college, and it's like, if your child can't get into those colleges, maybe they don't need to be there. If they can't get in on their own, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they don't need to go to those colleges. So for you to cheat for them by paying and bribing somebody to get them in, you're actually not doing your child any justice. You're doing your child a disservice because they're obviously not ready for those schools. So you're going to pay all this money for your child to get in there and flunk their asses out. And this is like a slap in the face to those students who really do deserve to be there but can't afford to be there. I mean, it's just crazy. Just so you can say your child went to these prestigious schools. I did some research, and Lori Loughlin, she didn't go to college. So I'm wondering if she's trying to, live out her wish she shoulda, coulda, woulda through her daughter. I don't know. And her daughter, who actually has a YouTube channel, basically stated, and I'm not going to say verbatim what she said because I don't remember, but I know she basically said she really wasn't even into college. I mean, she really wasn't pressed to go to college. Not for the right reasons anyway. So this is just crazy, and it just goes to show you how people, when they have money, I'm telling you, they think they are powerful. Well, I mean, to some extent, money is power. But what I'm saying is they think they are untouchable. They think they can just get away with anything. But it's just some things, no. And to make it so bad is this had been going on for years. I wouldn't have dare had the nuts to even be involved in a scam like this. I've been too scared of the repercussions, like what they're dealing with now. My thing is this, if this has been going on for years, and if, these parents were doing something shady like this, it makes me think about all the other, like over the years, like I'm talking about even before, this started to go on. I'm talking about going all the way back. It makes me wonder how many other rich parents have been doing this for their kids. It makes you feel like the whole damn college admissions process is corrupt. I mean, seriously. I also read somewhere that the college admissions scandal may also involve tax fraud. It's crazy. And I think at the end of the day, this scandal and many other scandals involving rich, high-powered people, it just goes to show you that it doesn't matter what position, we feel like people are in life, whether they got, just because they got money, they can get on some gutter shit just like anybody else, some deceitful shit just like anybody else. So griminess is not reserved for the poor and the broke, or the people who are less fortunate, or who were born and raised in poverty and all that kind of stuff. No, griminess is just griminess, and it don't matter your status. If you just grimy, you just grimy. If you scandalous, you just scandalous. Whether you got money, whether you broke, whether you poor, whether you a big tycoon in corporate, honey, or whether you at the bottom of the totem pole and living in the hood somewhere. And this it's going to cause so much backlash for these people. Now, the alleged ringleader of this whole fiasco, circus, scandal, whatever you want to call it, William Singer, he has pled guilty, and I have a feeling he is going to get more. I mean, he's gonna fall harder than anybody in this, because he's allegedly the ringleader. So parents were paying him to get their children admitted to elite schools,
And, he owned the payments that they were paying him were made to Key Worldwide Foundation, which was a nonprofit organization owned by him. His organization had been previously granted a particular status, which allowed him to avoid federal income taxes on the payments. So the parents could deduct their donations from their own personal taxes. So what he did was he offered college counseling services as the Edge College and Career Network. And this organization pretty much, he was basically, getting the students extra time on tests and things like that. And of course, this story is viral and, it's sparking a lot of conversation about just the whole the college admissions process, period. Because like I said, it makes you wonder, who else got in on the scam? Who else, who else graduated on the scam? Yeah, this has to be the biggest. But before this, I remember the one scandal that broke from in Atlanta, where the teachers from an Atlanta high school were they were fudging and manipulating the students' tests so that they could get like big bonuses at the end of the year. And I mean, it was so bad. They were having like parties after school. Like the teachers would meet up, they would party, and they would be like meeting up, changing the test score, changing the answers or whatever for these students, so they could get a big bonus check, because their bonus depended on the test scores of these students. And again, another situation where you've done the children a disservice, because if their test scores were not really good enough, you just passed them along. You setting them up for failure down the line. And I know that sometimes, trying to get to where you want to get to in life, certain places and things, it seems hard at times. And sometimes it just seems like your talent alone, is not getting you there fast enough. And so sometimes we tend to look at other people who are already there, and we think, oh, wow. But, this also just goes to show you that you never know how people got to where they are. I'm not saying nobody's talent, could have got them where they are, but I'm just saying people lie and cheat. You never know who they done killed to get to their position, who they done stole from, who they done paid off, who they done bribed, who they done fucked, sucked, who they done, what numbers they done fudged, what records they done falsified. You just never know who they done lied on. I mean, you just never know. So it's like, don't even be looking at people thinking the world of their positions. I mean, just be neutral, because you just never know. They could have got there the legitimate way, the honest way, or they could have got there the deceitful way. And when you get somewhere the honest way, it feels better. You don't have to worry about nothing coming back to bite you in the ass like these people. All right, guys, that's it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe and follow me on social media. All right, take care.